What up, YouTube? It's your boy Rizal, and I'm back on the channel with another reaction. Let me hold it over here in case I'm crowding the mic a little bit too much, and just hold it like an infinity stone. Anyways, second reaction of the day. I'm back to baseball again. One of my latest sports reactions was a baseball reaction, and now I'm back on another baseball reaction. I feel that baseball one should have more views. I feel honestly because it was like a really good. But anyways, hey, we miss until we hit it. Fuck it. This baseball reaction was a suggestion that was given to me a while back, and it's how to identify baseball pitches. And this one is coming straight out of the Sports Explained YouTube channel. Go check them out, and it'll teach me how to identify like baseball pitches. What do I know about baseball pitches? I know that like after watching like a lot of like baseball movies, I started like searching for like baseball phone games that I could play and stuff. And I used to do all these like crazy pitches and stuff in the game, and they act like I'm Charlie Sheen in that old movie. I forgot what that movie is called, where Charlie Sheen was like an all-star baseball pitcher or some shit like that and stuff. After I watched that movie, I became obsessed with being like a baseball pitcher for a time period when I was a child. I forgot what age I was too. But anyways, let's go further in and delve into these different types of baseball pitches, and hopefully this video schools me a little bit more on how to identify these things. So without further ado, how to identify baseball pitches.
Identifying pitches.
Hey, if you've ever watched a Major League Baseball game, you probably know how difficult it can be to identify the different types of pitches that pitchers throw. So I put this video together to help you identify the pitches that you might be seeing in a Major League Baseball game. In general, the three things that you're looking at are, number one, the velocity of each pitch, number two, the movement of each pitch, and number three, and this is kind of a bonus, the pitch arsenal of each individual pitcher. If you go to Baseball Savant, you can look up the various pitches that each pitcher throws. For example, if you know that a pitcher throws a curveball, a four-seam fastball, and a changeup, that narrows it down for you pretty nicely. All right, let's get started.
Fastballs.
The fastball is the basic pitch of Major League Baseball, and it's the type of pitch that you're going to see the most. There are three basic categories of fastballs, and most Major League pitchers use one of these types of fastballs as their primary pitch.
Four-seam fastball.
The four-seam fastball is the most common pitch in Major League Baseball. It's also the easiest to identify, because from the angle of most TV broadcasts, a four-seam fastball appears to travel in a straight line, with no vertical drop whatsoever. This straight and level movement is a result of the high amount of backspin placed on the ball. If you see a pitch that's traveling...
Sorry, you even noticing like how like I saw the difference, whereas in terms of like the fastball, it was going for a while and then it dropped suddenly. It like just went like into the glove, whereas this seam fastball, it seems like it's going straight, but in the midst of like going straight, it veers a little bit to the right from my angle that I'm seeing, and then I think the ball is doing a little bit of a spin. I think that was a change up, but then again, I don't know different baseball pitches and stuff and what they're called or how they work, and that's why I'm watching this video.
Going this straight at 90 plus miles an hour, you're probably looking at a four-seam fastball. Some four-seam fastballs actually appear to travel upwards as they approach the plate, and this is called a rising fastball. Despite the way it looks on TV, this upward movement is just an illusion.
Oh, there's an ad. 1 minute. I actually wanted to say something as this ad plays. Like, that shit is so effective. Like, how much of a power and swing do these baseball batters put into their swings? Because honestly speaking, you'd think that they'd want like a stopping like point in terms of their swings, where they just like stop themselves immediately as like they make impact on the ball and don't just like swing like just swing like all like the whole 360, but stop like at a 180, and then like just I don't know, man. How to explain this? It's gonna sound like an anime move where you just stop yourself, like as you make impact, and then the ball just like takes the full weight of you, the vibrations going through your body from the ground. It like goes like right through your arms into the baseball bat, and then it just like sends the ball flying at a fast rate away. What am I talking about, bro? Is that even like a thing, or I'm just coming up with this shit right now. I'm not saying I'm no. This is just me, like my imagination. You know, like how kids are, like before they know about the world, they have this whole imagination and everything is possible. You know what I'm saying? That's me. That's who I am right now, a kid in baseball. And honestly speaking, like I think that would be better. I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I think that would be better than putting your whole swing and then after that when you miss, you turn the whole way through as you miss, you like twist your knees and stuff, you fall on your ankles. It looked like he even like twisted his ankle and shit when he missed that ball, man. That shit is crazy. That's like getting your ankles taken on the court in basketball. Shit.
Sinker or two-seam fastball.
The two-seam fastball, or sinker, has movement as it approaches the plate. This movement is usually downward and or towards the pitcher's arm side, so away from the glove. If you see a pitch at fastball velocity that drops or appears to run or twist towards the pitcher's arm side, you're probably looking at a two-seam fastball. The terminology can get a little bit confusing at first because people call this same type of pitch by two different names. The most common practice is to call it a two-seamer if it arrives up in the zone or if it runs laterally without much downward movement, reserving the term sinker for a two-seamer that drops or that arrives low in the zone. But it's also fairly common to use these terms interchangeably or to just use one term. For example, StatCast will call this pitch a sinker every time, even if it arrives up in the zone.
Hey yo, another question. Do these mid catches, these guys who have the mitts and all at the back, do they ever break their hands like upon the impact of the ball? Has there been like at a time in baseball like a high rate of them breaking their hands because of how powerfully the ball is being thrown into their hands? Um, because like it's traveling at the velocity of like a small car with a considerable okay speed, right? Not like a supercar or anything, but the ball is flying pretty fast to you from not exactly a short distance, but yeah, a short distance, and the ball is from what you guys have schooled me on. It's harder than a cricket ball, and I know how hard a cricket ball is, so that seems insane. So has there been an instance where the padding in this in the big mitt wasn't enough, or has like the mitts always been safe?
Cutter.
The cutter is the least common fastball in Major League Baseball. By definition, the cutter is characterized by late and sharp movement towards the pitcher's glove side, so the opposite direction of a sinker. In practice, however, a cutter can also drop or break hard towards the glove side like a slider. The unpredictability of the cutter can make it one of the hardest pitches to identify outright, and in fact, it's not unheard of for Major League broadcast crews to disagree about whether a pitcher has just thrown a cutter or another type of pitch, most commonly a slider.
This looks like a slider, actually. Just a crisp, hard slider, a little break to it. Cutter, they're calling it.
The good news is that pitchers who throw a good cutter at the major league level tend to use this pitch quite a bit. So, knowing that a pitcher throws a cutter is your first step in identifying what that pitcher's cutter looks like.
Breaking balls.
Breaking balls are pitches thrown with significant top or side spin.
Hey, Afangu, you breaking my balls there.
That causes the ball to change direction as it approaches the plate. This change in direction is called break. There are two basic types of breaking balls.
Curveball.
The curveball is generally the slower of the two breaking balls. The archetypal 12 to 6 curveball gets its name from the fact that it breaks downwards, as if it's traveling from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. But a curveball can also travel towards the pitcher's glove side or come in straight and then bottom out. The curveball is almost always the slowest pitch that a pitcher throws. So if you're looking at a pitch that's traveling anywhere from 60 to 80 miles an hour with a looping or dropping motion, it's probably a curveball.
Slider.
A slider is a breaking ball that breaks diagonally towards the pitcher's glove hand side. Sliders are generally thrown faster and with a tighter break than curveballs. As you watch these sliders, you might be noticing that some of them are bearing a resemblance to curveballs, and others are bearing a resemblance to cutters. This is a good time to say that these pitches all more or less exist on a continuum, and people sometimes use terms like slurve to describe pitches that don't quite fit into one of these categories. In any case, if you're talking about a slider or a slurve or a curveball, you're talking about a breaking ball. And the good news is, if you just call one of these pitches a breaking ball, you're never going to be wrong.
Off-speed pitches.
While the term off-speed pitch technically refers to any pitch that's not a fastball, in practice the term off-speed pitch is usually reserved for pitches that mimic fastballs but that come in at a lower velocity. There are two types of off-speed pitches that you will commonly see.
Changeup.
A changeup is a pitch that's disguised to look like a fastball, but arrives about 8 to 15 miles an hour slower. To my eye, most changeups look like sinkers, but again, they arrive 8 to 15 miles an hour slower than that pitcher's fastball. Let's take a look at a couple examples. Here is John Means throwing a fastball at 95, and then here is the changeup. When we slow this down, we see this is just a standard four-seam fastball, 95, and the changeup looks like it could be a sinker, but arrives 11 miles an hour slower than the fastball.
Yo, that's crazy, guys. Do you realize, like, I'm even realizing there's damn near strategy in almost everything you do in life, because honestly speaking, it's people who don't know baseball, basically, like me or whatever, would just think like maybe there's like 3 different ways or 4 different ways from how, like, I saw in the game. And imagine if I didn't play the game, how maybe I wouldn't know some of these things. I've identified some of these ones. I just never said it out loud. In terms of like the phone game that I used to play, like people who never like watch baseball would never know like all these different strategies that go to just throwing alone. Just throwing alone. There's so many different ways you can throw. There's a calculation way. Like now I'm seeing like you can throw it 15 miles like less per hour or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's just making me think, damn, man, like you can mind fuck someone. It's no different than fighting, dog. It's no different than combat sports when you mind fuck people with like feints, with different strategies, when you strategize in the ring, when you calculate your breathing control, your level of calmness, your footwork, when you manage distance, when you, all this different shit, bro. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, damn, man, even with throwing a ball, there's a certain way you do it. There's an art to it. There's an engineering technique to it. It's truly beautiful, man. We've got to love life itself and what it can give us. Yeah.
Lucas Giolito, fastball 96, on the changeup arrives at 85. When we slow this down, we see it's a standard four-seamer again, and then with the changeup, same delivery, comes in looking like it could be a fastball, but it arrives at 85. The changeup is designed to be deceptive, and even professional broadcasters can get it wrong.
One. Fastball. Take it low. 2 fastballs. I think that was a change. I think it was a change? Yep. 89 miles an hour. Yeah, he throws harder than that.
This is a pitch that becomes much easier to identify once you start paying attention to the pitch velocities that are displayed on screen.
Splitter.
I know this one.
The splitter is an off-speed pitch that is thrown like the fastball, but that has a significant and late downward break. This diving movement is a result of the low spin rate placed on splitters, which pitchers achieve by using a split finger grip that gives this pitch its name. It's easy to see a splitter and at first think that it might be another type of pitch that has some significant downward movement, like a curveball or a sinker. But once you start paying attention to the velocity of each pitch, you should be able to pick out the splitters. Here is Shohei Ohtani throwing a curveball at 79 and a splitter at 88. When we slow these down, we can see that the curveball has kind of a tumbling action to it, whereas the splitter comes in looking like it might be a fastball and then just drops. The splitter is ultimately not a very common pitch, so knowing that a pitcher has a splitter in their arsenal is a good first step in identifying that pitcher's splitter.
Less common pitches.
The fastballs, breaking balls, and off-speed pitches that we've seen so far constitute the vast majority of pitches that you'll see when watching Major League Baseball. There are a few other types of pitches that you might see, and we'll go through them pretty quickly.
Ephus.
An ephus pitch is an incredibly slow and high-arcing breaking ball, if you want to call it that.
Forkball.
I know the
Forkball is like
forkball.
an extreme splitter, and these will often land in the dirt or touching home plate.
Screwball.
I know a screwball
is a breaking ball that breaks like a mirror image of a slider, so towards the pitcher's arm side. It's been years since one has been thrown at the major league level.
Knuckleball.
I know
And
the
finally, there's the
knuckleball.
knuckleball, which is an unpredictable and floaty pitch that's thrown with almost no spin whatsoever. So that
I know
covers
the
pretty
final
much
thoughts.
every pitch you're going to see when you watch Major League Baseball. If you know that you're going to be watching a baseball game and you want to get better at identifying pitches, the best thing you can do is go to Baseball Savant and search for the starting pitchers for that game. See what they pitch so that you are prepared and you know what's coming. Beyond that, just keep paying attention to how the pitches move and the velocity of the pitches that you see on TV, and it won't be long before you are identifying pitches pretty well. Real quick before we wrap up, it should be made clear that each example that was shown in this video is a well-executed example of each pitch type. And in order to show the full movement of each pitch type, I only included videos where the batter did not make contact with the ball. In reality, not every pitch that you see in a Major League Baseball game is going to be this pretty or is going to conform this well to the definition of each pitch type. Breaking balls might not break. This is called a hanging breaking ball, and they happen all the time. Hanging breaking balls are usually hit for power, so you don't want them. Pitchers will misfire on their fastball. And pitchers are always changing up the velocity, movement, and location of their pitches in order to keep batters guessing. So even the same type of pitch from the same pitcher can and will look different from pitch to pitch. So give yourself some time, and if you want to identify pitches by just seeing them on TV, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get there within a couple weeks if you just keep at it. Feel free to come back to this video anytime you want for reference. Unless it's a submariner style pitcher, in which case you're on your own.
I don't know what that means, but thank you. And my final thoughts on this video. There's even a technique in terms of even how you hold the ball, man. Like, do the hand grips and all switch in terms of how you hold the ball when you're doing these different ones too? Or do some share different types of grips, or is it only for specific ones? These are the type of things that one would need to know if they were even participating in baseball in the first place. You know what I'm saying? But this has been an interesting video. I wonder if there's an art to hit. Whether there's different, not just like those two ways that I know. I mean, different ways to calculate, different ways to position your body, different ways to breathe, different ways. I wonder. But that's been me, guys. Thank you for this suggestion. I didn't memorize your I'm sorry. But thank you for this suggestion. This has been wonderful. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the post notifications. Have a good day. And here's to tomorrow. Right? Cheers.
Boy, this ain't Beverly Hills. This ain't the land of the rich, but still, we all got heavier bills. I had a couple of seconds to kill, and I used the seconds to kill. All of you kids live to pop pills, we poppin' pills to live. I got an effortless pill, but still.